So we talked about what can employers do in terms of attracting top talent. So in your opinion and experience, Brad, so what can job seekers now do to reach to these companies?
Sure. I think a couple of things. One is job candidates need to be better networkers.
Okay.
All too often, I see people who can't find jobs because they don't have a good network.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, when you've lost your job or you need one is when it's too late, right? So, the truth is when you're working and before you need a job, you should be networking. You should go to groups that represent the kind of work that you like, the organizations that you would like to work for. You should build relationships, do informational interviews with executives that do the things that you're interested in doing, right? That is the kind of thing that people need to do. Whenever you're looking for a job, it always comes down to relationships.
Yes.
Okay. And you need those established relationships ahead of time.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
Yeah. Okay. I would say from my personal experience, like networking is a key here in Vancouver. Everyone knows everyone. And it took me a while to establish my networking. And my first HR job was through a networking, and it all based on those relationships. And I tell people that build relationship, go to this event, and don't be like, I'm here, I need a job, please help me. No, build relationship, and then the job will come.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And in many cases, if you have a network, you bypass the general selection process.
Yes.
Now, if you can't bypass it, the problem that you're having nowadays is that the selection process is automated.
Yeah.
People are applying to machines instead of people.
I agree.
So if your networking isn't getting you there and you have to use the traditional selection process, which is machine-based, then the reality is you have to work that process. So what that means is you have to study the company, what's important to the company, what are the values of the company. You need to look at the job description, what competencies are relevant, what qualifications are relevant. And when you submit your resume or cover letter or you fill out an application, you need to use those kinds of words. People call them tags, meta tags, all kinds of things.
Yes.
But the truth is, if you don't have those things in your resume, cover letter, or in your application, then the computer spits you out into the reject pile.
Yeah.
If you have the basic things in place, then the computer will keep you in the good pile. And that's what you want, because then humans look at the good pile, right? They look at the pile that's accepted. And so you've got to work the system, which means that every cover letter, every resume, every application is unique. You have to customize it. You can no longer throw around a generic approach. It won't work.
Yeah. And I always tell people, like, see what are the keywords in the job description or even in the company values. Put it there in your cover letter or in your resume. If they say excellent customer service and in your resume you have customer service, put excellent customer service, because the applicant tracking system will see that word that in the job description, and then you will be a match.
Yes. If they want Linux, then make sure Linux is on your resume. If they want, whatever it is, you need to make sure that you are reflecting what's important to them in your resume, in your cover letter. Honestly, of course, you have to be honest. And then you're more likely able to go through the system. Absolutely.
And also in this social media movement that we are living in, or in the content of LinkedIn, do you think that job seekers should be also involved in creating content or in following companies, liking them, making engagement with them? Do you think that will help?
I would agree, yes. I think just as companies have to worry about their brand, employees or candidates have to worry about their brand as well. You are more marketable if you're known for something, and organizations pay attention to it. They look at your social media footprint. If you don't have one, that tells them something. If you have one that's strong, that tells you something else. The flip side of that, though, and I think this is really important, is all too often people are on social media and they're not being intentional about it. And they have things on there they shouldn't. They have things on there that will embarrass them. They have things on there that make them look bad. And they all say, well, it's private. Only my friends can see it. Only my family can see it. And the truth is, nothing online is private. Yeah. And there are companies that actually do research on people's social media footprints, and they get into those places purposely so that companies know who they're dealing with. So the truth is, it's not just about creating content and having a presence and building your own personal brand. It's also ensuring that you're using it appropriately, correctly, and that you're not doing things that are detrimental to your brand. And then last, I think it's also networking. You talk about social media, social networks is really what this is all about. So we talk about media makes you think it's about pushing information. But the truth is, you and I met through social media.
Yes.
Right? And then we built a conversation and a connection. Social media is really about networking. It's about building relationships. And so besides going to meetings and networking for jobs, we should be networking and building relationships online. And the reality is it gives us an opportunity that we don't normally have. If I live in New York and I work in New York or DC and I don't travel all the time, and even if I did travel, I'm going in and out of cities, I can't build as many relationships with people in LA or in Wyoming or Kansas or wherever. But through networks, through LinkedIn and Facebook and a variety of other things, I can have relationships in Istanbul, in Kuwait, in Belgium, and in LA. And so the truth is, the larger, the stronger your network is, the more relationships you have, not connections, not friends online, but actual relationships that you're building where they see value in you and you see value in them.
Right.
More opportunities open up. Okay. So use the technology to build relationships.